Welcome back to episode 4 of Weekly Q&A with Steph. We've had so much fun getting involved in the conversation, answering the questions, and really getting feedback from you guys as well over the last 3 episodes. As always, this is episode 4. If you've missed the other ones, go back and watch them. There's been some killer answers in there. So let's get cracking with the questions.
Andrew Haynes asked, how do you strike the right balance between learning and productivity for your team?
Learning and productivity. You mean that you're an accountant and you're interested in something other than people filling in 8 hours of their timesheets every single day? Sorry, a bit of a fun joke there for accountants still doing timesheets. But there's a big issue with this thing called learning for a lot of our uni graduates, but also for every single person in the business. And unless you have learning as part of your culture in your own organisation, and unless you have learning as a focus from an organisation perspective, you can't expect that your team is ever going to concentrate on that themselves and is ever going to have that as their focus, because they'll just assume that productivity and getting that next job done or that next 6 minutes in their timesheets from a billable perspective is the number one priority. So first, before we even look at the right balance between learning and productivity, it's important that it is a focus for your business. If it's not a focus, yes, you might have some awesome team members who are doing that stuff themselves, who are, going home at night and doing the reading and going to events and all sorts of different stuff. But unless that is a focus for your organisation, this question is like null and void. You won't even need to concentrate on this whatsoever. If you're one of those great organisations who values learning and who wants their team to be the best team that they can be, and who isn't interested in just that next 6 minutes of billable productivity, this is going to be a big issue for you. And it's something here at GrowthWise that we still struggle with every single day, because you want everyone to be learning as much as they can, not only from a technical perspective, but on a personable level. How do they convey confidence? How do they actually get interpreting the numbers in front of clients? All of those bits and pieces, as well as the tax law. So for us, the thing that's working well is to structure learning time. So we've just embarked every single quarter, everyone picks their own goals that they're trying to work towards, and the business picks their own goals that they're trying to work towards. And I found the best thing is to make sure learning and what your team or that person wants to focus on to learn in the next 3 months, if you set that in concrete, if you actually write that down, that this is what you're going to focus on for the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever you want to choose, it's then really easy to schedule in when you're going to learn that stuff. It's really easy to schedule in to reflect on your progress. It's really easy then to make sure you're training the rest of the team on what you've learnt, and the whole process is much easier. So to do that balance though between learning and productivity is extremely difficult. If you don't schedule it, if it's not, this is what I'm learning. Because remember, you can just do random reading and yes, you might pick something up, but if you're laser focused on what you're trying to achieve and therefore you're looking for those specific things, the outcome that you get from that reading, from that conference, from that whatever else is going to be 20 times greater than if you're just doing random stuff. So first of all, this has to be a focus for you. It has to be a focus for your entire team. I suggest sitting down and working out with every single person, what do they want to concentrate on learning over this next 3-month period, and then schedule in with each of those people when and how they are going to do this. So we expect every single person at GrowthWise to actually be interested in what it is that they are doing. We expect that they'll want to go and read things at night or in the morning or whenever suits them that's outside the normal 8 to 5. It's just our expectation, and we share a lot. So not only are people doing their own learning, they're also scheduling in specific learning for them during the day, a couple of hours a week, but they're also sharing those things as well. So the best thing that we found after scheduling everything in and setting the goals and reviewing is get your team involved in sharing what they've learned. So we use Slack as our internal communication tool, and we actually have a learning channel. And we get really excited, well, I certainly do, when I see that learning channel filling up day in, day out from every single person in our team for what they've learned and how they've been able to actually apply this learning. So the right balance between learning and productivity is really hard, and each person in your organisation might be slightly different depending on where they're up to in their careers and where they're trying to progress to. But the number one thing you have to do is make it a focus, and the second thing is schedule it in.
Gil McKerrow JHH asked, are there any common traits of businesses you see that are achieving success in the current environment?
The traits that I see, not just for the current environment or the state of play in the accounting industry, I think the traits that I'm going to go through now are what make any business really, really successful, whether that be years ago, whether that be in the future, or whether that's now for our industry. So the first thing is you have to have great leadership. You are never, ever going to have a successful business if your leadership sucks. So this is the foundation or the fundamentals of having a great leadership team or a great leader in your business that can then motivate the whole rest of your team, that can then get buy-in, that can then create the culture, that can get everyone excited, working on the same page and delivering the results that you need to deliver as a business. So by far the biggest thing I see where people are kicking their goals is those businesses have great leaders or a really, really brilliant leadership team. So the other traits or some of the other things are they all work really hard. So this isn't rocket science, right? If you want to have a successful business, and for the people out there who have really successful businesses at the moment, they work damn hard, but they work smart as well. So they're constantly looking forward. They're constantly looking for improvement. They don't just get to a stage and say, well, I've done it. I've done all of these things. I don't have to worry about anything else. They're constantly looking forward, striving for that improvement, finding the little tweaks and trying to basically be the best that they can. So I guess in terms of the trait for a person, rather than just the actual businesses that I see, the people are really motivated, they're hungry for success, they know exactly what they want to achieve and they are just going for it. So if you want to imitate the successful businesses that we have out there at the moment, and there's certainly a lot of these in the accounting industry, you have to have a rock solid leadership team. You then have to have a great team behind that, so the rest of the team. And then you need to make sure you're hungry for success, you're motivated, and you're ready to work damn hard. Success means so many things, or so many different things to different people as well. So you might actually think a successful business is someone who's growing rapidly and about to take over the world, versus someone else might think that a successful business is someone who has time, the money that they want, and are getting to do what they want every single day. So I think in defining the characteristics, everyone is going to define characteristics of people and businesses that they think are actually successful. So I just want to put that as a side note that, you know, you need to find or define for you what success means first. If you're looking for things that you can do to be more successful or to point others in the direction that they can actually have a look at some of the things, first you've got to define, what does success mean to you? What is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you're trying to achieve? And then it's as simple as finding people out in the world who are giving their advice, who are telling you what's worked for them and what hasn't worked for them, and start to take on board some of the tips and hints that they've got. Embed that in your own business, and that should be the catalyst for you getting to that next rung or next level for success. But make sure you're finding the books that you're reading, the podcasts you're listening to are people that you want to emulate or that you think are actually successful, because every single one of our definitions will all be very different. As you can probably tell from this episode, learning is one of my passions. And I think fundamentally, if you want an awesome team, you need to be attracting people that really want to learn and want to improve and want to better themselves as well. So that's a wrap for episode 4 of Weekly Q&A with Steph. Keep the feedback coming. Let's keep the questions coming. Really excited to be able to answer different stuff each week for you as well. But most importantly, I am super, super pumped. Next week, I'm off to South by Southwest. So we'll have weekly Q&A with Steph coming to you from Austin, Texas, amid all of the chaos, 36,000 people chaos of South by Southwest. And hopefully I can bring some excitement and some of the things that are happening in Austin to you as well. So as always, keep the questions coming on Twitter, Steph QA, keep the comments and everything coming in the little feedback form, etc. below. Love the questions that are coming through, love the discussions. Till next week, and make sure you don't forget to subscribe.